The call came at 2:14 a.m. Don't come tomorrow. That's all my brother said before hanging up. No hello, no explanation. Just those 3 words dropped like a stone into black water. Tomorrow was my father's will reading. The one I had flown across the country for, the one nobody thought I'd actually attend. I lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling, my phone still glowing in my hand. My brother's number. My brother's voice. My brother, who hadn't spoken to me in almost 4 years, except for last week when he sent a text. Dad would want you there. Now suddenly don't come. I should have ignored it. I should have rolled over, gone back to sleep, pretended it didn't matter. But my chest felt like it was full of bees. And when I finally did fall asleep, it was only for 20 minutes at a time, waking up with my heart slamming against my ribs, the sentence echoing over and over. Don't come tomorrow. The next morning I still went. I walked into the lawyer's office with my hands clenched so tightly my nails dug crescents into my palms. My mother was already there, sitting straight-backed, pearls around her throat like armor. My brother sat beside her, smug and tired, his hand draped casually on the chair as if he owned the air itself. And the moment my mother saw me, she smiled. A smile sharp enough to cut. You weren't supposed to be here, she said. I didn't answer my mother. I just sat down at the far end of the table, opposite her, where the light from the window hit my face. My brother wouldn't look at me, but I could see the muscle in his jaw twitching. The lawyer cleared his throat. Let's begin. He unfolded the papers, his voice steady but sharp. Your father's estate has been divided into 3 parts. 3. I frowned. There are only 2 of us. My mother's lips curved just slightly, like she'd been waiting for this exact moment. She glanced at my brother, and his hand tightened on the armrest. The lawyer continued. 50% to David, my brother. 30% to Mrs. Carver, my mother. And the remaining 20, he paused, adjusting his glasses, to Evelyn Parker. Silence. I stared at him. Who the hell is Evelyn Parker? I asked. Nobody answered. The name hung in the air, heavy and poisonous, like smoke from a fire nobody wanted to admit existed. I turned to my mother. Who is she? She smoothed the pearl necklace at her throat and said softly, Not now. But my brother, he smirked. Just barely, but enough for me to see it. And that smirk made my stomach twist. That's when I realized something I hadn't dared to believe before. They knew. They both knew. And I was the only one in the room left in the dark. The meeting ended in a blur. My mother signed papers with her usual grace. David nodded like the king of a kingdom he hadn't earned. And the lawyer packed his briefcase as if he hadn't just detonated a bomb in my life. I waited until they left the room. Then I leaned toward him. Tell me, I said. Who is she? The lawyer hesitated. I'm not sure I should. I cut him off. She's in my father's will. That makes it my business. His eyes flicked toward the door, then back to me. Finally, he sighed. Evelyn Parker is listed as a dependent. Dependent. I repeated. My mouth went dry. What kind of dependent? His pause was too long. A child, he said finally. 17 years old. The air punched out of me. My father had been dead for 6 weeks, buried in the ground with all his secrets, and now this, another life, another daughter. I stumbled out into the hallway, my chest tight. My mother and brother were waiting by the elevator. Both of them looked too calm, like this was just another Tuesday. You knew, I whispered. My mother's smile didn't falter. Of course. David's smirk widened. Welcome to the family, sis. And in that moment I understood the phone call. Don't come tomorrow. Because tomorrow wasn't mine anymore. It belonged to Evelyn. I followed them out of the building, my heels snapping against the marble like gunshots. You knew about her this whole time, I said, my voice low, dangerous. My mother didn't even flinch. Your father made his choices. I made mine. What does that mean? It means, she said, adjusting her coat like she was bored of the conversation already, that you were better off not knowing. Better off not knowing. My hands trembled. There's a 17-year-old girl out there who's my sister, and you what? Pretended she didn't exist? David chuckled. Half-sister. Let's not get dramatic. I spun toward him. Did Dad tell you? He shrugged. I met her. Once. That hit harder than I expected. He met her. He looked me in the eye like it was nothing, like the years I'd spent craving my father's attention could be tossed aside because he'd already replaced me. Why didn't you tell me? My voice cracked and I hated it. Because you always make things about you, he said. His smirk was gone now, replaced by something colder. You'd have ruined it for everyone. I stared at him. Ruined what? Neither of them answered. My mother flagged down a taxi like she was done with the scene. David climbed in after her, the door slamming shut between us. But just before the car pulled away, he rolled down the window. You should leave this alone, he said. You won't like what you find. And then they were gone. I stood on the curb shaking, the city buzzing around me. My father had another daughter. My mother knew. My brother had met her. And me? I was the only one they'd tried to keep in the dark. I couldn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the smirk on David's face, the calm on my mother's. Evelyn Parker wasn't just a name in a will. She was real. Flesh and blood. My blood. By 3 a.m. I had my laptop open digging through public records. My father's name. Cross-references. Addresses. It didn't take long. She wasn't hidden, not legally. She lived less than an hour away. A high school senior. Honor roll student. Pictures of her smiling with friends in some school newsletter PDF buried online. Brown hair. Sharp eyes. My father's eyes. The next morning I drove. I didn't even think. I just followed the map until I was parked across the street from a small brick house with peeling paint and a broken porch step. The kind of place my father would have called temporary. Except clearly it hadn't been. I sat there gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles whitened. What was I supposed to do? Knock on the door and say, "Hi, I'm the sister you didn't know you had because our father lied to both of us." Before I could decide, the door opened. A girl stepped out with a backpack slung over her shoulder, earbuds in. Evelyn. She looked almost exactly how I imagined, except there was no shock, no confusion. She glanced at me sitting in my car, and for a second our eyes locked. And then, she smirked. Like she knew who I was. Like she'd been waiting for me. I got out of the car before I could overthink it. Evelyn. I called, my voice too sharp, too desperate. She pulled one earbud out, tilted her head. Took you long enough. My stomach dropped. Took you long enough. You know who I am? She smiled thin, knowing. Of course. Dad told me about you. The word dad coming from her mouth hit like a knife twist. He told you what exactly? That you'd come eventually, she said. That you'd want answers. That you'd hate me before you even met me. I don't hate you, I said quickly, too quickly. Her eyes narrowed. Not yet. Silence stretched between us. Cars rolled by, a dog barked somewhere down the block. She stood there like she wasn't 17 at all, like she was older than me somehow, heavier with knowledge. Finally I asked, why didn't he tell me? She shrugged. He wanted to. But your mom made sure he didn't. The ground tilted beneath me. What are you talking about? She came here once, Evelyn said casually, like she was recounting a grocery run. Your mom. Years ago. She told him if he ever tried to bring me into your life, she'd ruin him. She said you didn't need me. That I'd only take things from you. My throat went dry. My mother had known about Evelyn long before the will. She hadn't just accepted it. She had controlled it. And Evelyn wasn't finished. She told me the same thing, she added, eyes glittering. That you'd never want me. That if you found out, you'd throw me away. Just like she did to him. Her words rattled inside me like loose glass. My mother. Always smiling, always polished, always in control. She hadn't just known. She had orchestrated this. She came here. I whispered. Evelyn nodded. Sat right on that porch. Told me I wasn't welcome. Told Dad if he wanted to keep his life together, he'd better keep me invisible. I wanted to deny it, but it sounded exactly like her. I could practically see my mother's pearls gleaming in the sunlight as she delivered the ultimatum. She hated me before I was even born, Evelyn said. Not a tear, not even a crack in her voice. Just cold fact. I shook my head. You don't know her like I do. Evelyn smiled without humor. Oh, I know her. Better than you think. That smile unsettled me more than anything. She wasn't a scared girl begging to belong. She was calm. Certain. I swallowed hard. Why did Dad put you in the will? Because he owed me, she said simply. He wanted to leave something behind. Piece of what she took. I studied her face. My father's face staring back at me through younger eyes. And what do you want from me? I asked. Her expression sharpened. I want you to stop pretending you didn't already know. Deep down. Don't tell me you never suspected. Don't tell me you didn't wonder why he was gone so much, why he was always too tired for you. You knew. You just didn't want to admit it. Her words hit harder than I expected. Because a part of me had wondered years ago why my father disappeared on business trips that never quite added up. I had just buried it. Because burying things is what our family did best. Evelyn stepped closer, her voice low. Now you have a choice. You can keep playing her game or you can face what he left behind. I followed Evelyn inside. The house smelled faintly of dust and lemon cleaner. The kind of place someone maintained but didn't love. She led me to a back room. Not a bedroom, not really, more like an office. Papers stacked on the desk, boxes in the corner. She pulled one open and slid a thick envelope toward me. Go on, she said. Inside were documents, bank statements, property deeds, investments, all in my father's name, all connected to her. I flipped through in disbelief. This is a fortune. Evelyn nodded. Not just money. Secrets. Proof of what he built. Proof of what he hid from her. I looked up. Why are you showing me this? Because it's mine, she said flatly. And now it's yours too. 20%. He wanted you to have it. My chest tightened. I thought of my mother's pearls, my brother's smirk, the smug calm they carried when the lawyer read the will. They hadn't just been greedy. They had been protecting themselves. Because if I had known about this entire shadow life, I could have blown everything open. Evelyn leaned back in the chair, studying me. He trusted you more than them, even at the end. That's why he left me in your hands. Not hers. Not your brother's. Yours. I shook my head. I don't understand. You will, she said. Soon. There was something in her eyes when she said it. Not hope, not fear. Something sharper. Like this wasn't just an inheritance. It was a test. Evelyn opened the bottom drawer of the desk and pulled out a smaller envelope, yellowed at the edges. My name was written on it in my father's handwriting. My throat tightened. Why do you have this? He left it with me, she said simply. Said I'd know when to give it to you. My hand shook as I tore it open. My daughter, it began. Not my girls. Just me. If you're reading this, then the truth is already out. I couldn't protect both families, though I tried. Your mother wouldn't let me. She wanted everything for David and nothing for you. I gave in for too long. I let her decide the story. But Evelyn deserves more than to live in the shadows. And you deserve the truth. I blinked through the blur. You were always the strongest. That's why I left her with you. Not your mother. Not David. You. Protect her if you can. Or walk away. But don't let them erase her the way they tried to erase you. The letter trembled in my hands. My father, the man who had spent my childhood vanishing into business trips and returning with excuses, had known exactly what he was doing. He had chosen me. Not them. Me. Evelyn watched me silently. Now you get it. I did. And it terrified me. Because for the first time I saw the truth clearly. This wasn't about money or even family. This was about control. And with Dad gone, the game pieces had shifted. My mother. My brother. Evelyn. Me. Only one of us would come out holding the story. I didn't call ahead. I showed up at my mother's house with the letter in my bag and Evelyn by my side. David opened the door. The smugness drained from his face when he saw her standing there. What the hell are you doing here? Getting answers, I said, pushing past him. My mother was in the living room, pearls at her throat as always, a glass of wine balanced perfectly in her hand. She froze when she saw Evelyn. For the first time in my life, I saw something crack across her face. Fear. You weren't supposed to bring her here, she hissed. I dropped the letter onto the coffee table. Dad thought otherwise. She stared at the envelope, then at me, her lips parting in disbelief. He gave you that? Yes. And I know everything now. My voice didn't shake. About the visits. About the threats. About how you tried to erase her. David muttered. You don't know what you're talking about. I snapped my head toward him. Don't I? Dad trusted me. Not you. Not her. Me. The room fell silent. The letter sat between us like a loaded gun. My mother's hands trembled around her glass. Finally she spoke, voice low and sharp. Do you have any idea what this will do to this family? Yes, I said. It will end the lie. Evelyn stepped forward, eyes burning. You don't get to decide my existence anymore. My mother's mouth opened, but nothing came out. For once she had no script, no control. I stood taller, feeling something I hadn't in years: power. Not the kind you steal or beg for, but the kind you claim. I'm done playing your game, I said. You don't get to dictate who belongs and who doesn't. Not anymore. David scoffed. And what, you think you're in charge now? I smiled, calm, cold. No. I think I'm free. And with that I turned to Evelyn. Let's go. We walked out together, leaving them sitting in the wreckage of their own silence. Outside the air felt sharper, cleaner. Evelyn looked at me, almost surprised. So what now? I took a breath. Now we start telling the story ourselves. Because family isn't blood. Family isn't pearls and wills and smirks. Family is who you refuse to let be erased.